We're doing it, little dog. You don't care. You're just a floor dog today. A little floor monster. Look at you. There's a little lump on the floor. Well, all right. What's happening? There it goes. All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome. It's Friday. TGIF, I guess. So, news roundup. Trump is claiming that they have negotiations ongoing with China. China went, no, that's not happening at all. Quit lying to everybody. The Trump also claimed there's negotiations going on with India and Japan. India and Japan have not come out and affirmed those in any way, shape, or form. So I went to the city yesterday. Hopped on the ferry, went to Seattle, did lunch with, it was my niece's birthday, so we did lunch in the city. One thing very noticeable coming into Seattle is that on the ferry boat to the south is the port of Seattle, which normally has an absolute crap load of giant ships. It's one of the largest deep water ports in America. And usually there's all the berths are full, all the slips are full, and there's between 6 and a dozen ships anchored throughout the Puget Sound, waiting for a berth to open up. There were no ships, not a single ship at the port, no containers, no activity. There was nobody. There are no ships anchored offshore waiting. There is nothing. The very obvious result of this is that in the coming months, store shelves are going to start to become bare. This means you will not find the things you need to buy or the things you want to buy. So on top of having a tariff added to the price of everything, we're going to start to see price gouging as a result of this manufactured scarcity, which means the price of everything's going to go up, which means inflation is going to go insane. And the fact that we do not have a Consumer Financial Protection Bureau anymore that can fight things like price gouging, and we don't have any competent leadership at the FTC that can fight things like price gouging, means we're screwed. If you are a retailer of any kind, from the biggest Walmarts to the smallest mom and pop shops, you're going to begin to not be able to find things to be able to store on your shelves to sell to people. It's going to get brutal. Brutal, mate. That's what's going to happen. So, if you're in America, you're going to start to see scarcity happening all across the board when it comes to products. And you may start to see scarcity when it comes to fruits and veggies too, because the people who pick them are gone. So, but on top of that, we're now arresting judges for doing what they're required to by law. So there was an individual here, immigrant, legally here. They have a permit to be here. They were in court in a courthouse in Wisconsin, in Milwaukee, I believe. And after their hearing, word got out that there were ICE agents looking for him inside the courthouse. And the judge was like, "You can leave that way. It's not my job to detain you because I'm not a federal officer." And they don't seem to have warrants, a legal warrant. So the response of the ICE agents was to arrest the judge and charge her with aiding and abetting. But the problem is that they didn't have a legal warrant. They have an administrative warrant, which does not mean anything. If someone comes after you and say they're going to arrest you with an administrative warrant, you can just go tell them to fuck themselves and walk away. That is not a warrant. That is not a warrant signed by a judge. It's not a warrant. It's not a warrant. It's not a warrant. So, by all means, when somebody claims they're a federal agent, refuses to show you any ID, and gives you an administrative warrant, one of these days someone's going to pop one, because it just seems like a kidnapper at that point. So yeah, we are on the slippery slope to an authoritarian state when they start popping judges for doing things that are legal. A judge is not allowed to do anything in that situation to let somebody in their court to arrest somebody. They are banned from doing something like that. So, it's not her job. But the feds are going to try and charge her. Good luck bringing that in front of a judge. "Hey, judge, here's a judge that did judge things. You want to be able to arrest that judge and charge them, judge?" And that judge can be like, "No." So, because they know exactly where that's going to go. Also, the federal government apparently has been recording who is a Jew and who is not a Jew into a database designed by Doge, focusing on federal workers and college employees. So I've not gotten my text message yet asking if I'm a Jew or not. I wonder do I want to be on that list? It's for their own protection. Protection from fucking what, dude? You? That's the only thing I need protection from. So I don't. Just wear the star. That way we know exactly who you are. This is gonna be just financial news. OMEX is finally popping. It's remember last summer they won a NAFTA trade agreement thing, USMC, whatever. And it was chapter 11 of the negotiations in a NAFTA deal, and they won a court case and won $35 million. But all the algorithms read chapter 11, and they just hammered the price down from $5 to like 50 cents. Sometimes it went even lower than that. Well, they're an offshore mining company. Horrendous damage to the ocean floor if they get approval to do it. But they're going to scoop up manganese nodules off the ocean floor with big machines and mine those for manganese and rare earth elements. It looks like the Trump administration is about to give them approval. NOAA, which should not be participating in this at all, is all like clapping about how they're going to be allowed to do this soon. So the prices of the stock is finally flying. But just so you know, while I appreciate folks being able to get their money's worth out of this stock, the type of mining they're doing is going to absolutely vaporize ocean life. The few tests that were done showed that it basically killed everything from the seafloor to the surface when they did these mining operations. So we're basically going to wipe out the fisheries in any area where we're doing this, and we're going to get some manganese out of it, I guess. But we can get manganese out of like scraping a canyon wall in Utah. So yeah, so we got that going on. So woo, yay us. Do you have anything else to add? Oh, I'm taking a big bet. We'll see where it goes. Probably because I've taken this big bet, it's going to go the exact opposite direction. But I bought an absolute crap load of 530 puts on the SPY for Monday, right before close today. Because every Monday, the SPY's opened down since Trump has been president. The smallest down we've had is about $10. The largest is around 30. So I'm $20 below the closing price. And let's just see if these little lot of tickets got something to do. I have 47 of them. And let's see if Trump manages to scare everybody over the weekend like he's done every single solitary week, and we open really terrible and down. So we'll see. Monkey, do you have anything to add, or do I just hit the button and move on from here? Yeah, we'll hit the button. Why not? Click. Oh wait. Oh shoot. No! What the hell? No, why is it? No! How? I turned you off. Why'd you turn on? Why? I clicked the intro, turn it on, and then I noticed that the After Dark was still on, so I clicked that and it just went again. Alright, well, unforced errors in this case. Tropic was first, Wheat Wild was second. Wheat Wild this opened early, puts on getting to the show chat. We do have a ways to get to the show start chat, but we'll see where that goes. Wheat Wild, another season 2 started. Shorzy season 5 is filming and started the process to buy a house on a Greek island within a year. Excellent. And Andor season 2. That's what we're saying. I am excited by Andor season 2. Andor was probably one of the best sci-fi shows ever made. So there's only doing 2 seasons out of it, like the final season. I'm like, what? It's so good. Why only do 2? What is wrong with you guys? But oh well. At least we'll get like a wrap up, some sort of closure. That'd be nice. Tropic favorite barbecue joint. I don't have one because we don't have particularly awesome barbecue joints around here. We had, like, there's a local Tex-Mex place here. It's pretty good. But we don't have much in the way of, like, classic barbecue joints. Like, the barbecue you get is kind of pedestrian in the Northwest. I've had really good barbecue as, like, specials in some places. I used to work in a bar that did a North Carolina style pulled barbecue pork sandwich that was just kick-ass. I personally think North Carolina barbecue is my favorite, like the really vinegary barbecue. I don't know if you guys have had that, but I like it. Like, just makes the hair on the back of my neck stand up and makes me feel tingly. But I do enjoy just barbecue in general. So I know I don't really have a favorite joint because we don't really have much around here. I need to spend more time in, like, Kansas City and then the South to really determine what my favorite barbecue joint is going to be. We wild any news on GMGF and No Labs? Nothing about No Labs as of late. GMGF, last I checked, they signed that deal with that battery testing place in Indiana. Graphene Manufacturing Group. Blink, blink. Let's see what they got in there. Don't just... What? What is this crap? Don't give me that. What? Sorry. Graphene Manufacturing Group. There we go. That's what I wanted. Okay. Usually go to their news. See what their... Okay, what's the most recent? Graphene Manufacturing Group Limited announces closing of bot deal financing. Management Group or the company. So this is today. Provides a quarterly update. Allow the company to issue and sell from time to time up to $20 million of ordinary. Give it to me. Ordinary. It's ordinary. Ordinary shares from Treasury to the public. Okay, so this they're allowed to do 20 million Canadian of share sales to the public. Okay. So that's what they're doing. Okay, so they announced that they are doing a share offering, which means price can get pushed down. Webinar. Closing about deal financing. That was March. Public offerings. They've been doing public offerings the past little while here. Looks it means they're raising money, and quite a bit of it. Energy savings project, Singapore Bank to scale. Okay, that's a project. This is the big collaboration they had with the group in Indiana. So looks like they're selling lots of stock. They got lots of stock sales going on, which is going to keep the price down, but it's allowing them to raise money. So my guess is they want to build things, and that's where they're at. So there you go. So, super chats. Low B, so you're telling me OMEX calls are actually blood money calls? Yes. OMEX is going to take these big machines and scoop up the seafloor, take out the minerals, and then just spit out a huge amount of silt in the ocean, basically choking off everything that's down there. So yeah, it's definitely a blood money company. But I mean, so are oil companies, so are mining companies. It's all blood money in the end. But just, if you're going to buy calls on OMEX, buy puts on any fisheries that are traded publicly, because all their fishies are going to be gone. Jigashukla, read by Jesse Wells, great for End of the Empire. Read by Jesse Wells. Jesse Wells. Oh, song. Okay. All right. Oh, I think I've heard that song before. All right. Word. Noted. I recognize that moppy hair and that rosehip and bramble area that he's doing that video in. Noted. Did any other super chats that I missed? No, I don't think so. Okay. Phew. We wild dude. I went to Mission Barbecue in Nashville twice when I was there. It was epic. Noted. Mission Barbecue, Nashville. Tropic. And of the barbecues, which one is your favorite? Japanese barbecue, Korean barbecue, American, Argentine? I would say North Carolina. I I have enjoyed Korean barbecue. I have enjoyed Japanese barbecue. I have enjoyed, normal American barbecue. I don't know if I've ever had Argentinian barbecue. I've had Brazilian. Ipanema Grill is up here, and that's been pretty phenomenal. I don't know if I've ever specifically had Brazilian or Argentinian. I'll try it. Why not? Sounds good to me. I'll try it. I like meat. I am a meat man. Tropic, I'm trying my hardest to try and find easy ways to invest in Mexico. Any ideas? I've never tried to invest in Mexico. I have lots of friends, family, and neighbors who have retired to Mexico as of late. Most of them went to Sayulita, which is near Puerto Vallarta. It's a little south of Puerto Vallarta, I believe. And some of them have done some real estate stuff. One of the families opened up a bar on the beach, and they run that. That's sort of their retirement. One of the farmers that's right over here that does wine, grapes, and veggies and all sorts of stuff. He and his family have built a house down there. And that's where I think soon, if one of the kids doesn't take over the farm from him, they're just going to sell the farm and then retire down there soon. Because he's pushing 70. And it sounds like his kids all don't want to farm. So they'll find some hippie to buy that from them and continue the growing really crappy German grapes and making mediocre wines. But the veggies are always pretty good, and they have delicious pork. So that's also nice. But yeah, I guess investing in Mexico, I think you just show up with money and you go, hey, we're gonna put this, and then someone figures out a way to put it somewhere. Probably the safest way to do it, but it's one way to do it. Wheat Wild, talking about dry rub. You have all the condiments you need. Is getting fries, actually, just the drinks. Cool. And 9 says Tesla equals lol. I didn't even look at Tesla today. What is Tesla doing? Is it still trying to fly high for absolutely no reason whatsoever? It's 283. Yeah, it's insane. What did it do today? From 261 to 286 was the high today. On what? On what? What? Elon's coming back. Yay! Cool, Elon. No one likes you, and no one wants to buy your cars. But, thing one is, how do you feel about the first round pick? I also was not paying attention to the NFL draft at all. Who got what? All right. So, Cam Ward went to Miami, number 1 overall. So it looks like they're expecting Tua to have just absolute sponge brain, not be able to carry on much longer. The man's a phenomenal athlete, but his noodle has definitely taken more hits than it should, and he's going to have CTE in a hurry. Travis Hunter from Colorado went number 2. All right, Boise. Who went? Who the Seahawks get? I didn't even pay attention. Who the Seahawks got? Anybody? Do the Seahawks even have a first round pick, or they trade down like usual? Seahawks. Gray Zabel, North Dakota State. Oh gee, huh? Offensive guard. We're actually gonna try and make an O-line. What? No way. Seahawks with an O-line? That's insane. All right. Well, there you go. Cool. All right. Well, cool. I guess we'll see where it. Oh, what? No. Oh, Ward played at Miami. Sorry, and drafted by Titans. Sheesh. Okay, so it's going to Titans. Never mind then. Forget me. I am baseball. Even though I got second place in our fantasy football league this year, but yeah. Don't have me talk football unless it's actually football season. Chris Taylor, happy Friday. Anything on the menu for this coming Cherry Tuesday? Oh, yeah, shit. Cherry Tuesday's on Tuesday. Someone want to do something for the folks in Gaza. I'll have to find one that's good. If you're going to be doing a charity for Gaza, you have to phrase it in such a way as to not piss some people off. So, I'll find something. I got to put my head down and figure that out this weekend. If you have ideas, by all means, send them my way, and we'll find something for this Charity Tuesday. And 9, any good news going on in Canada is rejecting the far-right fascists, hopefully. I think Carney's at like an 87% chance of winning at the moment, according to the online betting pools. Basically, the central flat places are the ones where he's not winning. But where the people live, he's winning. So that's, I guess, all that matters in the end. Belgian whale, interesting take from Richard. In the past 20 years, Gmail only made $1.2 billion from their stores. When you take the kisses of the profits, they make money selling shares and buying back when cheap. We are a holding company, only holding GME. Yeah, basically they are a holding company at this point. They haven't done much to actually improve the stores per se, or improve the experience, or make it easier to get things in person. They've shut down stores. They've trimmed fat, right? They're probably going to be facing issues with software, especially having like 125% tariff on it from China. Physical software at any rate. And a lot of like game devices won't necessarily be considered the right kind of computer hardware to avoid the tariffs. The fact the ships just aren't coming here tells me that there just might not be the products in the shops anyway. So, yeah. Attaining oneness, where were you when Gretzky record was broken for all-time scores? Blissfully unaware until it popped up on one of my social media feeds. And it was like, Gretzky was there to watch the record be broken. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I read up on it, and Gretzky still has like thousands of more assists overall. And points generated general. So, you know. But Gretzky's also a Trumper, so who gives a shit? Tropics got some, tinks around this area. We haven't had a good not Eye of Africa spout here in a while. Okay. Oh, I know what's wrong. I need to do the Adobe. That's what I need to do. Okay. Adobe. Right? Nope. That's still on Adobe. Adobe. Done. That's... there we go. That's what I was trying to do. Hot damn. There we go. Okay. All right. Paste that sucker in there. Boom. Doo-doo-doo. This thing. Yeah. This is, I think, at Joshua Tree, or maybe 29 Palms. One of those places. One of those military based out in California. You can see they got a second one sort of built here. This is a tank of water. Looks kind of like a crazy alien spaceship design, like something the Cylons would be flying around. And you can see this little boat here. That little boat right there. It's thought to be, you put stuff in here and you fire a tank, boom, into the water to do water detonations. So this is one of those like weird spots. They got other like little weird military things out here. Looks like an old irrigation circle out in the desert for some reason. There's also some really cool canyons up here. Which canyon is it? Just north of here? Is this guy? Yeah, a little Petroglyph Canyon trailhead. So this canyon here has more petroglyphs than any site in the world along this canyon. It's also part of the military base, and so you can't go there anymore. So that's pretty cool. The rock formations out here are pretty neat. Got some old cinder cones, got some canyons. You have just tons of, like, this is an old lava flow in general right here. Lots of mineralization, but it's all on, I think 29 Palms is the base, if I remember correctly. Ridgecrest. Pearsonville, Little Lake, Junction, Costco, Junction Ranch, Ballarat. Where's the 29 Palms? Somewhere out there. Out in the high desert of the Mojave. But yeah. So that other place I'd gone, which is Opal Mountain, which is this spot here, and Inscription Canyon. There's 12,000 petroglyphs in this canyon right here. As well as there's a really cool cave, which is right about here. Is this where the cave is? That's not the cave. There's a cave on this side that was known as like the Cave of Life. No, that's not the cave either. Where basically the Mojave peoples, this was a giant lake during the last ice age, huge lake. And you would go, I can't remember if it was to give birth or to conceive, but regardless, the Mojave people would go to this cave to do one or the other. And so like either thousands of babies were made there or thousands of babies were birthed there, one or the other. But yeah, this was all water back in the past surrounding this whole big basalt mountain here. If you go to, okay, that's the canyon. I think you have to go up here, Scouts Cove. Maybe that's it. But up here is the old mine. This is it. Okay, this is the Opal Mountain mine here. Yeah, so this guy, this was the mine head. So Tiffany's owned the mine that was here for the fire opals. And this was like the entrance to the mine. They sealed it up since then, so that's kind of lame. But what's pretty cool is all around this thing, there's fissures in the bedrock, and you can actually see the opal in those fissures. So that's pretty neat. It's pretty much basalt, travertine. This is all travertine here because there's lots of hot springs, which where the opals came from. And so it made these like travertine steps out of from the volcano. So you get lots of travertine. You can fill up your kitchen with that stuff. I don't know, but I'm kind of going rambling here and like leaving whatever the point of. What was the question? Oh yeah, talk about that one thingy out there. Yeah, it's a tank for shooting stuff with tanks. So, woo! All right. Sometimes sommelier. Are the whales institutions buying Gimi every day, expecting their huge orders to be reflected in the share price? And if so, do you think they are confused that it hasn't been? I'm perplexed. I think they're waiting, just like we are, for perhaps swaps to be done in May. We might start to see a little price reflection starting next week, building up to that. I remember those monthlies are the 16th, and it was the 17th last year when the price started going nuts. And that's when Ryan Cohen did the 45 million share offering and crashed the price back down to 20-something dollars. And then it built up again when Roaring Kitty reloaded. Has Roaring Kitty reloaded is not so far looking like that has happened on the options chain yet. So I guess we'll see, right, Monkey? Is that cat trying to get in here, Monkey? What's happening? Sounds like someone's scratching at the door, but they stopped, so I'm not going to bother. And please explain this thoroughly. I don't know. I think that they're seeing that this company has a boatload of cash, and if a company has a boatload of cash, you just buy into it because that's what you do. Companies with boatloads of cash you buy into because that means they've got money and you want money, and money's good, right? That's the entire point of investing. So maybe they'll benefit from a big old squeezy squeeze, but right now I think they're just like, oh, it's a logical choice. The price seems to be low compared to how much cash they have on hand. We'll buy some, and they go from there. Tropic. I also want to invest in India. So India and Mexico due to manufacturing moving these locations maybe. I know nothing beyond you got to get approval to buy international stocks on platforms, and I can buy international stocks on my Fidelity platform. They yell at me every time I do it and want to charge you $50 per trade. So if you're gonna invest, you want to make it as big an investment as possible, so that $50 doesn't matter that much in the end. Kid Cadian first. No, you're not. I don't say I'm not first because You're first in my heart, Houston. Oh, thank you. And something OMEX on the road back to $5. Finger crossed several brokers. I found out they were restricted buy button. I bought more. Or OMEX finger looks like double short squeeze. You in Houston in both? I got a little OMEX. I got a little finger. I should get calls or something for them, but I did not. Instead of making a big silly bet that Monday will open down, I'll be able to sell it open. Have a good old pile of cash from that. But what will end up happening is it'll be the first Monday they didn't open down the entire administration. That's how it works. You know, the reverse Houston index and all. Tropic. Talking about drinks. Oh, WeWell's drinks in Nashville. Tropic actually got 8 mangoes for $3 and made them a tasty drink. Can't go wrong with mango. Oscar Bawalar. Okay, but seriously, is no one going to stop that idiot orange dictator? I mean, like, the real bad stuff we're having in the economy were manufactured by this dude. Like, there are bad things that can happen. Housing market, commercial real estate market, like those things are bubbles waiting to pop. But he's manufacturing a crisis where he's pissing off all of our foreign investors, all of our foreign allies, all of our foreign partners. He's inventing a scarcity crisis with food and goods, right? And he's weakening the US dollar so that our buying power vanishes abroad as well. And because of pissing everyone off, nobody's going to invest in our securities products, like our U.S. treasuries. So the interest rates are flying, meaning we're going to spend more as a government facilitating the interest payments on our debt while not being able to sell new bonds to people to alleviate our debt, right? Sell new bonds at lower interest rates, they're going to be good because they don't want them. So the interest rates keep going up. Meaning what we sell the debt for is not what the market will buy it for. So we're going to owe more money on the bonds face value than what we can sell them for into the market, which is just insane, right? I have a $100 treasury bill, but you'll only buy it for $70 and I got to pay you 5% interest. Oh, like that's bad. That's really, 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 really bad, especially since U.S. treasuries were the gold standard for everybody to have as like the collateral for their investments, whether it's sovereign wealth fund, hedge fund, pension fund, etc. It's just like we're toast. We're absolutely toast. We're toasting right now. We're burnt. We're bruciato. We're crumbly, man. That's where we are. Oh shoot, Kelly Reed just about to say something, and then I flew past it because there was chat reset. Where'd you go, Kelly Reed? Where were you? Where are you? There we go. Okay, Kelly Reed, happy birthday, HW. So the GME new ETF, to me, seems like shorts unlocking their cat shit wrapped in dog shit swaps. We're getting close to hedge funds collapsing, possibly quarter one, quarter two hitting off recession. Well, I didn't dig too deep. I read some stuff about the GMEU leveraged ETF. Basically, it looks like they bought 18,000 shares and then they got rid of them in a possible swap. And somehow still the ETF will track the share price despite there not being any shares in the ETF. I don't really understand. Like, I don't understand what's behind it. It seems to me that if you're going to make a leverage ETF, you have to have the shares and possibly calls and puts attached to it or something. But I don't really understand the mechanics of what they have in that ETF, how they're going to pay anything out, where the money's going to come from. I don't get it. Somebody posted under the retail investors bill of rights that I posted up on Reddit to ban single share ETFs, and I like it. Yeah, make ETFs have to be in actual indexes. Don't make them single shares because they don't seem to make any sense. I really try to wrap my head around them. I read about them, and in the end, I'm like, this seems like voodoo. I don't trust any of it. And other people seem to kind of feel the same way about them. Baycon. If we ever super chats, if we ever see a BBYQ final decree payout, what are some good charities to look at that will actually help people in need? Depends on who you want to help. Do you want to help like homeless? Do you want to help? Do you want to specify the homeless to people with mental illness, folks with substance abuse disorders, youth, military veterans? Like you can find all sorts of specifics in there. A lot of the charities are very religious in nature, and I'm always just wary of the religious charities because I hear lots of horror stories about how they won't help people if they aren't of that religion, etc. And I don't think there should be a religious context to helping people. I think you should just help them, regardless of religion. If they're homeless and they're hurting, you help them. I'm partial to charities that feed folks, and charities that help kids and help pets. Those are my three favorite things to do. Charities for kids, you have like the general charities that help children that are in trouble. We've done a couple of charities for Second Story, which is a great home for kids that had to be removed from abusive homes. They do a great job raising children and getting them to the point where they can be productive members of society while, give them a good life, the best they can in that situation, along with the therapy and help that they need from the trauma they experienced. I also like the idea of charities that teach kids things, whether it's teaching them life skills, teaching them outdoor skills, teaching this, just sort of getting them hands-on doing cool stuff that they otherwise wouldn't get to do. Especially charities that help kids do things they wouldn't necessarily be exposed to because of gender roles, etc. Like my sister Rachel, she's the captain of the Navy and physics professor. I got Legos, I got engineering toys, I got Lincoln Logs. She did not. And that's the stuff she wanted apparently growing up. And she was always kind of jealous that I, her younger brother, got all the cool things to build stuff and she didn't. And I think like exposing kids to, I don't care if you give a boy Barbie dolls. He's like, you know what? I like Barbie dolls because maybe they'll grow up like my friend Chris and then lead a fashion company, right? Like he is very successful. He granted he got to wear my hand-me-down Mickey Mouse sweatshirts when we were little, but he is now a world famous designer and playing with Barbie dolls, messing around with their dresses, making new ones for him. That was his thing. I was very much Legos, erector sets, chemistry labs, crystal radio kits, like those. That was my jam. I nerded out on those things, and my sister never got to do that stuff. Apparently, she would secretly play with my Legos when I wasn't around, because that was her only chance to really use them. But I like the idea of like teaching kids how to build a house or weld or do cool stuff like that. I would love to have had that experience to learn metalworks as a kid. And then stuff with pets, Humane Society, SPCA, things like that. Lots of little buddies need help, right, Monkey? And possibly little charities for buddies that need to have surgery and people can't afford it. It's like, you and your leg you lost, right? She's like, don't remind me of my leg. That's the look she's giving me off the floor there. So yeah, I don't know if there's a list anywhere of the charities I've supported that's public. That'd be a cool thing for YouTube to have. Be like, these are the charities this channel has raised money for. Just have a list of them, and then that would give you a good idea of charities that I think are good. Maybe I'll just write them down one day and put them up there for you. And Where to Wander Super Chats. Do you believe the Sell American trade will continue beyond next 3 months? And do you think investing in EU defense companies is a good play? Investing in EU defense companies has so far been an excellent play. They're up well over 100% since January. It looks like Russia really wants a conflict with Europe. And Europe's like, you know what, bro? Let's do this. So, yeah. Basically, people are canceling contracts for American fighter jets and other military equipment to get European-made ones. Ones from the Norwegians, from the French, from the British, from the Germans, etc. The Swedes. So yeah, I think European defense companies are probably an excellent play right now. And like even tangentially, like you got big companies like Boeing, which is the largest exporter in the United States. Boeing by far is the largest exporter in the United States. The Chinese are returning their jets. All the 737 Maxes they bought from the U.S. from Boeing, they're like, no, take them back. We're gonna go buy Airbus now. So we have definitely poisoned the brand of these American companies, and they're canceling their orders for F-22s, canceling the orders for F-35s. They're gonna get Eurojets. They're gonna get Saabs. They're gonna get, I don't know the name of the jets. I'm not a jet guy, but it's yeah. I think you're right, Brother Wander. I think it will. I think it will continue. The foreigners are gonna sell their houses here. They're not gonna be tourists here. They're gonna not buy products exported by us until we, get rid of the guy that's pissing them off. And that looks like it's going to be harder and harder to do as he consolidates power and arrests judges and does things that are quite frankly authoritarian without anybody really standing up to him. So, there we go. Steel, Peach, and Tozer. I would just take this opportunity to complain about everything. Thank you. Agreed. That's friend, Law from Wahoo. Is the world collapsing now that we are arresting judges? Yes. We are definitely in a constitutional crisis. 100%. So yeah, that's where we are. Virtual Studios is nice out. I'm going to take a walk and we'll catch the show later. That's okay. I mean, it's nice outside. I probably should have done the show outside today. I don't think I've opened my laptop since the last time we did an outside show. Who knows? It'll take 6 years of Windows updates before I can even do anything with that. Striker747 Houston. What's your crystal ball say about the stock market will be in full swing heading down? I think when big retailers, your Kmart's, Walmart's, Costco's, Home Depot's, Lowe's, big retailers, big box stores like that, start to talk about how it's hard for them to get their hands on products. That there's shortages of certain things. That then people are going to realize, oh, we fucked up. And we're seeing these telltale signs of a slowing economy. The stripper index, also stripper / OnlyFans index. The amount of money flowing and people attending strip clubs is dropping significantly. This happened in 2008. It's happened basically every time the economy crashes, strip clubs start to get empty. This is combining with the fact that OnlyFans creators, their income has dropped like 80%. Like women that were making $100,000 a month are making $15,000 to $20,000 a month. I mean, it's still good living, but the number of subscribers are diminishing as people cut out what, if you're going to a strip club and you're going to spend money on an OnlyFans model, that is discretionary income defined. You do not need that. You need a home. You need food. Like, you need those things. So if you're like, oh, money's tight, you're going to cut out the subscriptions to paying pretty ladies to show them your boobs. That's just standard. Another thing to look at is sort of the index of the gas station. Oil prices are down significantly. They're down, I think we're below $60 a barrel now. Oops, not that one. This one. See, we're 63. We have dipped down, so we're at 63. So we're basically almost $100 less than we were in 2022. So, oh shoot, I lost my Streamlabs. There's my Streamlabs. Oh, that's why. Because I'm in the Paint and not in. Oh, Paint is doing a screen grab. That's why. So that's nay. Okay, so what if I click that and I go like this? Oh, that's what I should be doing. Okay, and I move you kinda. All right, I'm gonna have to do this for everything. I don't know what's going on. Okay, so oil's at $63. This was, look at it. Look at the 5 year, right? 120, 118 in 2022. I think there were intraday spikes that were like 160. So we're not quite where we were COVID, where the prices went negative, but we are at the point where oil wells are shutting off. But here's the thing: while oil is half the price it was in 2022, gas prices haven't changed. Why? Because convenience stores, which have gas stations, you think of like your AM, PM, your Circle K, whatever. Customers at convenience stores have plummeted. They are gone. They're not buying ho-hos. They're not stopping in for their Monster Energy drink or a six-pack. They're not going inside, which again is discretionary income. Discretionary income is disappearing. So to make up for that fact, these convenience stores are not reducing the price of gasoline, even though it should be half of what it was in 2022. And they just aren't, because they need the money. Because people aren't buying hoo-hoos. They're not getting little donuts. They're not buying bags of chips. They just aren't doing it. No Slurpees. So it's showing that people are cutting back, and they're cutting back pretty big. So they'll do that until people just stop doing stuff. The other big thing to look at is the fact that the ports are empty. When you have a major port like Seattle with 0 ships inside, when in the past you had 10 ships all being unloaded at once, another dozen waiting in line to get to unload, you have hundreds or thousands of port workers that aren't working. And those longshoremen, they're sitting around waiting for a job posting, but no ships are coming in. And those guys make good money. I'm talking several $100,000 a year for a longshoreman, right? But you also have the day truck drivers. The day truck drivers that move this stuff from the ports to like rail stations to warehouses, etc., straight from the port. There's a port like Seattle, there's several thousand of them, and they're not making any money. There's nothing to pick up, nothing to drop off. You got your long haul shippers, nothing to ship. Your rail companies, nothing to ship. In a state like California, I think the largest employer is logistics. 500,000 people work in logistics in the state of California alone. 8 million across the United States, and none of them are going to have anything to do in the next couple of months. So they're going to be facing furloughs and layoffs at huge numbers. And logistics folks, I'm not your friend. You're a UPS driver. You make fantastic money as a UPS driver, as a union UPS driver. If there's nothing to drive to people, they're going to start doing layoffs, or they're going to start to furlough or something. So we're going to see, when scarcity hits, logistics folks are getting laid off, and finally the convenience stores, through competition, have to lower their prices because there's nothing else left for them to do. That's when I think the market goes, yeah, it's over. Because right now we had after having a piss poor Monday, Tuesday, the stock market has rallied a lot based on rumors and innuendo. Basically, the Trump administration be like, oh, we're in talks. And then everyone's been like, we're not in talks. But the we're not in talks, no one's listening to that. So like, oh, we're in talks? Woo-hoo-hoo! Right? I guess it's going to take a lot of quarterly reports coming out for folks to start to see where the dents are being made in the economy, and for them to realize like, oh, yeah, all these companies are going to have to start eating into their cash reserves to keep going through whatever troubles we're creating here. I suspect by June we'll start to see empty shelves. We'll start to eat through what's all the stuff that's in warehouses, and when the new stuff doesn't come in, there was a huge investment in warehouses during COVID because of the scarcity issues of the supply chain breaking down. So a lot of these companies are set up with a bunch of stuff in warehouses just because of that scarcity crisis that happened during COVID. But if there's no chance of it being replenished because ships aren't going to come here, like China just isn't sending the ships. They're like, fuck you, we're not going to send them. Because most of these ships are made in China, and we had slapped on a rule that every ship that docks is going to get charged $1.5 million if it's made in China. If it's not made in China, but there's parts from China, it's like an $800,000 fee. they're all made in China because we gave up on our ship manufacturing capacity a long time ago. Basically, we make military ships and ferries. And that's the only thing we make here. We don't have the capacity to make a gigantic, huge tanker, a huge container ship. We don't have it. We have a couple of small container ships because of the Jones Act. You guys know what the Jones Act is? Jones Act is this law, it's a protectionist law that does not allow interstate shipping by anything other than American-built, American-flagged ships. So you have a couple of ships that go between like the West Coast, Hawaii, West Coast Guam, West Coast American Samoa, West Coast Saipan, and like West Coast Alaska. And you have a few that do like the East Coast to Puerto Rico and U.S. Virgin Islands. These ships are not very big because the populations they serve are not very big. They are nothing compared to a giant container ship coming into the port of Long Beach. These are teeny tiny little guys that do a specific job because there's a law that specifically makes them do it. And we just don't have the capacity to build these ships. Seattle, for a long time, Washington State had a law that the cruise ships that were not flagged U.S. were not allowed to come to port here. So we had no cruise industry whatsoever. Despite the fact that Holland America's headquarters is here in Seattle, there was no cruise industry here. That around 2000 or so, they changed that law. They allowed foreign flag ships to dock. And since then, it brings in billions of dollars. Oh my God, the number of tourists is insane because they're all going on these Alaska cruises. And it used to be you'd see a cruise ship in town, like, whoa, there's a cruise ship? No, I've never seen one of those before. And now you come in on the ferry and there's 6 of them docked and just tens of thousands of people on the sidewalk going as they walk around because that's what you do when you're a tourist. So like, you can try to be protectionist about these things, but in the end, in this global system, people are just like, either you let them come and use their foreign flag ship, or you just don't get their business whatsoever. That's kind of where we are. And we are punishing folks who are providing us with a service because they aren't also acquiescing to every little demand we have. So we're not going to have products. We're not going to have goods anymore. And we don't have the capacity to build them. You know, the TVs aren't coming in. Your TV breaks. Like, oh man, I need to go get a television. Well, guess what? That television is made in China. And it didn't come in on a ship. So now you're fucked. So, like, you're going to have to go find a used one somewhere. Or steal one from a neighbor. I don't know. But, yeah, we don't have the capacity to build this stuff. We just don't. We got rid of it 50 years ago. And we have not kept up with the times. If we do build manufacturing here, it's not going to bring jobs back because it's going to be completely automated. Right now, you go to places in China, they've got factories where robots are building robots that build robots, and there's no humans there, right? Maybe there's a couple of maintenance dudes who are like, oh, this robot needs a little tweak, and they go and they fix it. But even they are automating their entire manufacturing process. So it's not like if we suddenly bring back manufacturing of televisions here that there's going to be even any human beings involved. It's like coal mining. If you have a law against open pit mountaintop removal mining, right, and you got to dig tunnels, you're going to employ a lot of people because it takes a lot of people to dig tunnels, thousands of them, right? But if you allow open top mining, you got a dude with a giant excavator, a dude who handles explosives, and a dude who drives a huge dump truck. You got 3 dudes doing the job of, actually, oftentimes it's ladies because they can't trust the dudes driving the dump trucks for sure. That's something they learned up in tar sands in Canada. But you often have just a couple of people with huge machines doing the work of what thousands did before with hand tools and drills and stuff in the walls of tunnels. That is, when we bring manufacturing back to this country, if we bring manufacturing back to this country, it's going to be robots doing it all. It's going to be a couple of people pushing a couple of buttons in an operating room, and then just robots doing everything else. Because they don't need lunch breaks. They don't need all that stuff. They aren't going to go on strike until the singularity comes about. But yeah, that's kind of where we are. It's gonna be rough. Yeah. Bitcoin, to hell with it. Spending the money to upgrade my PC. I'm really glad I did that back in November with the Thanksgiving sales. I get it being 17th. Happy birthday, Houston. All right. Ghost Taylor, I was humbled by my Tesla puts this week. Trading is hard. Yeah. I wonder what lies they're going to come up with for their earnings in June or July when they have like massively dropped sales. Nobles says Ryan is wrapped up. Houston, what do you think? Ryan is wrapped up like in a present with a bow? We're talking about the lawsuit is wrapped up. Lawsuit's sort of wrapped up. Hasn't been fully dismissed yet, but I think it will be, or at least dropped by the plaintiffs. Listen, Productions, Tesla keeps going up. What should we gobble up? Puts? At some point, it's the growth in the stock price is unsustainable for the fact that they aren't making any money. So, yeah. Boris Raspy, when will Jimmy hit thousands? When Ryan lets it. Meaning, we get ourselves a good gamma ramp, and he doesn't do anything to stop it. That's your clue that it's on like Donkey Kong. But right now, we get a good thing going. He releases some sort of press release, selling shares, doing convertible bonds, etc., and it just hammers the price right back down again. If you release stuff that allows the algo to interpret it however you like, the algo is going to interpret it down. Derek Horse, you inspired me to YouTube myself. Thanks, Wade. Welcome aboard. And Louis got some stickers. Louis also says, hit that like button. By all means, smash it. David Bain just tagged you on X to show you this Saddam video where he called out 66 leadership members and had 1/3 of them executed on the spot. It sounds like our future, personally. He was a strong man, and Donald Trump loves nothing more than strongman leaders and to emulate them. He would love to be able to do what Saddam did right there. David Bain says Republican congressmen need to impeach this man now. If not, this is the future. They won't. They don't have any spines. They won't do it. Colin, OMEX pumping last couple of days, sold 2/3 of the position for profit now. Okay. Here's something, Houston. When I become 35, I want to run for president on the Green Party ticket. As a progressive, I want to follow the footsteps of Robert M. La Follette. In the 1924 election, he won Wisconsin. Cool. I think if the Greens are going to do anything, they need to win locally and show that they can collaborate with the other left-leaning members of the governments that they're in. Otherwise, all they're going to do is they're going to take votes away from the Democratic candidate, and we're going to get another Trump. That's just the reality of it. So, I mean, you can run for president as a Green. And if you're successful, that just means a Republican is going to win the presidency again. And that Republican will probably be Donald Trump at this point because he's going to be an autocrat. So I think it's better to do what AOC and Bernie are doing, which is actively trying to change the Democrat, or David Hogue, are actively trying to change the climate inside the Democratic Party and getting rid of the corporatists from the Democratic Party. Get rid of the corporatists, and I think the Democrats stand a real chance at cleaning up shop in elections. If they're allowed to, if there are elections, and again in the future. But well, what's up? What's the latest date we need to hear something from BBYQ before nulls are worthless? Apparently it's 2 years from their filing they made, like June 23rd. So that's the hype date anyway. I don't know the validity of that. I don't know the law well enough for it. But I'd be happy with them making an announcement tomorrow. I'd be happy with them making an announcement 5 minutes from now. I'd be happy with making an announcement on Monday. Just do it already. Freaking do it already. That's what I say. First Day Productions. What will cause the SPY to drop? Japanese carry trade, Trump tariffs, what else? I don't want to buy SPY puts blindly. Yes, all those things. You'll notice that Trump underlings were like, oh, you know, the tariffs are going to get cut or whatever. And Trump's like, no. Right? And then Trump next day will be like, well, maybe 145% is a little high. The next day he's like, no, it's fine. It's eventually the wishy-washy up and down, cry wolf things are just going to lead people to go, you know what, it's over, sell. And I don't know when the specific date on the full collapse is going to be. If the yen stays below 140, where we are, yen. Right now it's 143. We had to drop down to 140.88 on Monday. Well, it's actually touching 144 almost at the moment. So the yen's getting stronger. If for some reason that yen drops too much, or the interest rates on U.S. Treasuries get too high, causing the price to drop even more, or 10-year yields. 10-year yields. 10-year Treasuries, we're sitting at 4.2. That's not too bad. It's not as bad as the 5% we were facing a little bit ago. So we're at... No, sorry. The 4.8. Oh, it's 30 years at 4.8. Sorry, that's 30 years. Why tell me? Yeah, 30 years at 10.8, 4.8. Looks like the good week in the market is causing the rates to drop a little bit here. But one little tweak, one little Donald Trump saying something insane, and people pull back again. And the yen drops. I guess the yen gets stronger. The U.S. dollar drops. Interest rates go up. Carry trades start flying again. And I don't know when that trigger is going to be. You got a wild card in office. You don't know. You don't know when he's going to open his mouth and say something that helps or hurts. Because it could be, it's Pandora's box. His mouth is both simultaneously destroying the market and helping the market instantaneously. Okay. Striker 747 SCOTUS and their immunity to POTUS is really going a long way. Yeah. So, all right. Ooh, I got to get going. I did make it to the start of the show, though. Just barely. I want to thank everybody for joining me. Like every weekend, I'm going to try and get a Twitch done. I have not done it. Too much going on, man. I got too many things, too many projects I got going on. I got to keep trying to finish. Monkey Butt never made an appearance. She sat on the floor the entire time, so the monkey cam was quite useless. But I'll see you guys later. All right. Have yourselves a good night. And take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. High five Grandma. Do what it is you need to do. And later, skaters.